All right, good morning, everyone. My name is William Echevarria. I'm an educator, I am an investor, and I'm an engineer. And today we're going to go off of all of the classes that we have done so far. So this is going to go ahead and be week number 10, I believe. And so it's building upon all of the concepts that we have learned thus far. And what I want to share with you today is just that money making machine, right? How do you bring all of this stuff together? What does it look like? And what's the goal so you can break out of your 9 to 5? Guys, this is very, very easy. Once you see it, it's going to come like second nature to you. You're going to see it like common sense. But sometimes it takes it to where somebody puts it out there and you're just like, aha, you got that aha moment. And you have that light bulb that goes off. So hopefully today I can act like the power company, flip that switch for you guys. Once you see the light, hopefully you guys can basically just hit the ground running and go from there. All right. So with that, let's get cracking. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen right now. Guys, let me know when you can actually see the presentation. Actually, that's not working right there. You guys still with me?
Yep.
All right, all right. There we go. Finally got it right. Sorry, guys. I'm just in a hotel today, so things are just slightly a little bit different than what I'm comfortably used to. All right, so we're in week 10, guys. All right, so with week 10, what do we have today? All right, so what is the machine? What is the game plan? Here it is, guys. There's no secret to it, okay? Let me move this out of the way just to make sure that you guys can see everything. All right, so what the concept here is this trifecta. All right, no matter what your financial plan is, as long as you have this trifecta, you're going to be golden. All right. So it's real simple. First step is you got to earn by any means necessary, hopefully legally. I'm not advocating for illegal methods of getting money over here, but you obtain your money. Then from there, you put it into your savings account or an armored truck or somewhere. You got to stockpile this money until your next opportunity shows up. And you got to be aware of what the opportunities look like because they come in many different shapes, sizes, and flavors. It's not a one size fits all approach when you're actually looking at investments. So you got to open up your mind, your concepts, think of what the possibilities could be, some abstract thinking, and go from there. Eventually, once you do that, you go ahead and identify what you're investment in. You put basically your resources to work for you. And once those investments start paying you back in riches, it's just a matter of watch, rinse, and repeat. So this right here is the master blueprint, guys. You do this, and eventually you'll be able to break out of your 9 to 5. You'll be able to have that passive income, and you'll be able to earn while you're sleeping. And that's what everybody wants to do. So, guys, this is about as simple as it can get right here. Okay, so to dive into a little bit about these concepts, let me go ahead and give you some examples. All right, so as I mentioned before, with earning comes in a lot of different options. Okay, most of us are used to the active income part. So you either have your 9 to 5, a W-2, you're working for somebody, or for those of us that are a little, eager and we want to do things on our own, we end up going the 1099 route. You're self-employed, you're contracting, independent, so on and so forth, or you have some kind of a side hustle on the side, maybe a small business or a franchise or something where you're actually operating it. All of these are a couple of examples of what active income looks like. The big key difference here is that active means that you actually have to work. Okay, so somebody is trading money for your time. Okay, now other means of income and earning it is the passive side. That's the sexy side. That's the part that everybody wants to do. Okay, some of the examples here is when you're already invested into something, right? You can get a K1, you can get a distribution from your investments, you can get dividends depending on where you park your money at. So all of these are forms of income. Okay, once you're getting these income, now you're starting to have that fuel for your investments, right? So you got to start stockpiling this fuel. It's just like when you try to fill up your car. If you only put like $1 of gas in there, you're not going to get very far. So you have to start collecting as much money as possible, start adding as much fuel, filling up that tank so that now you can actually make it to that journey. Okay. And the next part is where you're going to save it at. Okay. you're not just going to grab $100 and immediately try to put $100 to work. Like if you try to go to Coinbase or Robinhood or something like that, there's not a whole lot of leverage there. It's going to be very risky, very hard for you to be able to do that. But as long as you have more money into it, let's say now you have $1,000 or $10,000, now you have a little bit more leverage. You can weather the ebbs and flows basically of what the market does, or the ups and downs of the business and the economy and everything like that. You just need a little bit more leverage, and that's where the whole saving concept comes from. So from all of your different income streams that you're getting, you got to stockpile it somewhere. The ones that I like right here is a CVDP. Okay. We mentioned this earlier in the program. These are the cash value dividend paying accounts. And the way we actually design these is through whole life policies. Okay. A lot of people end up understanding that life insurance is just kind of like a death benefit. They think, what is it? Skull and crossbones the whole entire time, right? That's not it. There's a component to life insurance that's the living benefits. That part right there is super powerful and very misunderstood. A lot of them, you probably have seen it through TikTok, social media. There's a lot of shorts, reels, and they talk about IULs and the infinite banking concepts and, be your own bank and legacy wealth. This is what they're talking about, guys. My team specializes in this. So at the end of this class, I'm going to put a link on there if you definitely want to learn more about this. See if this is a tool that you can add into your own toolbox. Definitely reach out. I encourage you. Let's have a conversation. There's no obligation to it. And let's figure out how to make this money. Okay. Again, with the CBDP, what they have is a design for a max cash value. Okay. The death benefit's always going to be there, but you're parking your money basically into a life insurance account that is growing money. It's a protected asset. So it's protecting you from all sorts of poachers like Uncle Sam and lawsuits and everybody else for the most part, that wants a piece of it. Those long lost cousins that you didn't know existed, it protects you from all of that fun stuff. Or if you want to go a more traditional route, a little safer route, you think it's too risky and you want to do exactly what everybody else is doing and earn at a slower rate, you can put it into a regular savings account. And if you guys have any savings account, which is almost mandatory to open up a bank account anywhere, you'll notice that the very generous offers that they give you is 0.2% interest. Okay. From earlier on in the classes, you've seen that if you do the rule of 72 at 0.72 or at 0.2%, it's going to take you a very long time for you to double your money. So I wouldn't advocate about that. That's super slow. And the whole entire idea here is we want to velocitize our money. We want to get to that finish line as fast as possible. Or if you want to go into what they're offering now as a high yield savings account, what are they offering now? Maybe 2-3% on your money for the most part. So what does that really look like? Again, you have to have a big amount of money, and it doesn't make sense until you have like a boatload of money. So again, the CVDP is the way to go, guys. We can definitely compare that for you. We'll have a sit down with you guys so you can see the difference, the advantages, and what the time value of money is. Because money doesn't just have its physical value. It's not just the denomination that's on the bill. There's a time value to it. And a lot of you guys are probably aware of it right now if you're paying attention to the news. They're telling you about the rate of inflation. They're telling you about how expensive things are now. The cost of eggs, the cost of gas, the shortages, the this, that, and the third. However, our wages don't go up at the same rate. You'll be lucky if you're in a 9 to 5 where your income basically goes up 2-3% at that for a cost of living increase. That's why a lot of individuals, we like the 1099. We love being able to be in control of our own income. That's great, but still, things are still going to be costing us just as much, if not more, right? So you got to play that game, okay? So now, after you guys save, the next step in the whole entire model is you got to invest it. So now you got this bucket of money somewhere. You want to put it to work for you. You don't have no idea where you want to put it at. As I mentioned before, what's going to be needed is you have to have a sense of awareness of what an opportunity looks like. Okay. And depending on what circles you roll in or what kind of things you're exposed to, you're going to see that an opportunity can present itself in many different ways. A lot of the common ways and a lot of the more favorable ways is definitely real estate. You guys are familiar with the statistic that about 90 some odd percent of millionaires are made through real estate, and you're aware of it. A lot of you guys that are on the channel right now are either agents or in the real estate industry of some sort, and you know all the benefits that come along with investing into real estate. And they can come in the form of a single family home, multifamily, commercial, retail, even short terms like Airbnb, VRBO, short term displacement, so on and so forth. Now, the ideas here in the real estate column, guys, they're kind of twofold. Well, actually, there's about four money centers in there. Reason why I say that there's four money centers is with real estate, it's one of the only investments that I know that you can actually appreciate in value. You can take depreciation as well. You have somebody else paying your mortgage for a principal pay down, and then you have the cash flow option of that. All of those things in one investment vehicle is amazing. I don't see this actually existing in a lot of other opportunities. Doesn't exist in the stock market, doesn't exist in crypto, doesn't exist in arts, collectibles, commodities. I haven't seen that anywhere else. So that's why real estate is so powerful. Okay, and again, the name of the game in real estate is cash flow and then building wealth. Okay, the cash flow with a single family home may not be game changing. You might make $200 or $300 per house. You guys are probably familiar with like cap rates and whatnot, but really it's the appreciation of that asset. Year over year, if it goes over 4%, 5%, or like it was last year, 10%, that house is growing in wealth. So your equity that you're building in there is very, very fast considering the amount that you put in the down payment. If you put in 3% down, or you're one of the lucky ones that have a program that's no money down into the house, you're gaining all of that money just by living there. And if you flip it around and have somebody pay it for you, that's an amazing vehicle. Okay, next we have is like businesses. Okay, a lot of the businesses that people look at, they think that you're buying into the business, and that is true. You buy into the business, you feel like you have to be the operator, you have to go in there and you have to do the 9 to 5. In the beginning, more than likely, that is going to be true because you're going to have your hands into the mix to find out what's going on. But the idea here, guys, is to be an absentee owner. Okay, you got to find the right talent, you got to interview the right people, put the people in place that are actually going to do the work for you, and then you supervise them. Get out of the way. Okay, find somebody who's better than you at managing people, assets, books, whatever it is. You basically act as a visionary, the networker, you build on that kind of stuff, and you keep on collecting businesses like your ass catching in Pokemon. Okay, you find whatever opportunity, if it's a pool, if it's a barber shop, if it's a subway, whatever it is, as long as the numbers make sense. And again, I'm relaying back to earlier in the program. You start finding what those numbers mean to you, what the ROI, what your target is. You get those, and now you'll start looking at opportunities solely based on that. You won't discriminate on any other reason. You'll literally look, does this company make sense? Is it profitable or not? What are their P&Ls? What are their financials? That kind of stuff makes total sense. And again, you have more success with a franchise and like startups. You have mergers and acquisitions. There's a lot of different opportunities, guys. This is why I tell you that be open-minded to that. Be aware and definitely take a look at what's out there, and you'll see that there's an opportunity everywhere. You can buy a lawn services doing that and just kind of like help them scale it, or maybe help them market or something of that nature, and your money's working for you while you're asleep. And then the last column there is other. These are the typical things that we're aware of already. If you hear about investments, these kind of words are coupled with them. The stocks, the ETF, those are the exchange traded funds, bonds, cryptos, commodities. Each one of these disciplines, guys, is something in its own thing. There's a little bit of overlap and there's a little bit of similarities, but they're their own world and you kind of have to know about them. I suggest that you go with what you're comfortable with and think about what your strategy is. Do you have a short-term game plan? Do you need money kind of like within 12 months? Are you thinking day trading, or are you thinking like 5, 10 years and you're putting that money in there and completely forgetting about it? And you're just waiting for, when it pops. That's kind of like the idea about those, right? Once you start saving enough money into that bucket, that armored truck, then you start putting it out there, let that money work for you. And again, investments takes times, guys. Okay. If not, it's called a trader. If you're a trader, that's like a day trader. You're trying to get in at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're trying to be out by 5 o'clock. That's a totally different concept. Okay. Investments is a long-term strategy. So you got to think about put that money in there right now, keep on watering that seed, and eventually it's going to blossom into a beautiful flower. Okay. And that flower is going to be your nest egg. And that's basically your golden parachute. Whenever you guys want to like finish your life, do what you want to do, live your life, because now you're no longer trading your time for money. You basically have both. You have the time, the money, and then the last thing you got to work on is your health and relationships. Because what is all that good for if you don't have anybody to share with and spend it? Okay. And so with that, guys, I want to finish it off. That is the perpetual wealth cycle. Okay. So again, you have to earn, you have to stockpile that cash somewhere. You have to have the discipline to do that. Once you actually put that money to work for you and it's growing a little bit, you're playing that game consistently, right? Then once you see the opportunity, and you don't have to be desperate, okay, you don't have to jump into the first thing and just because you're going with a gut feeling, do your due diligence, do your homework, find out if this actually makes sense. Okay, have some history, look back into people's history for the most part, look at their books because that's what's going to tell the story, right? And think about what happened in the world. Like for example, you know that COVID basically had an impact on every type of industry. So if you go back 3 or 4 years in financials and you notice a massive dip in 2020, it's not necessarily that the company did bad. It's just that they had an external factor in there, which was the fact that COVID impacted every single industry. So you might want to give somebody a break on what happened in 2020, right? But then you start looking at 2021, 2022, and if you see the trends are still kind of like on par, then you're like, okay, this company is still doing really, really good. This investment option is still a very good option for me to exercise. Then you jump on it, you did your homework. The best you can do is just kind of hope for the best. But the golden rule in every single investment is you only invest what you're able to lose. Okay. So with that, guys, this is the perpetual wealth cycle. All you have to do is wash, rinse, and repeat that. You earn as much as you can from as many streams as you have. You save it, put it into a bucket, then you invest it. And at the end of the day, this is going to be like a freight train. Once it takes off from the train station, initially the momentum is going to be difficult, right? You have that inertia, you got to break that. But once already going into momentum, it's almost unstoppable. You just have this wheel and this cyclone of wealth that just keeps going over and over and over again. You're going to be making enough money to where you don't even know where you got to put it at. And that's what everybody wants to have, right? So with that, guys, this is the last slide. If you guys would definitely love to learn more about these strategies, you want to talk with one of us, have more of a one-on-one personal conversation, get to know each other a little bit, definitely take note of the link below. Please fill it out. It's very simple. All it's asking for is your name, some form of contacting you, and things that you would like to talk about. I put probably about half a dozen or so questions in there that'll be of interest to you. That way, when we have a conversation, we definitely have some points to go off of. So I would like to open up the floor if there's any questions. If you guys want to talk about something a little bit more, so open to the floor at this point. Guys, don't be shy. I'm like, we don't make wealth by ourselves. Okay, we don't just like put money in the piggy bank and that's it. Like, let's talk about it. What have you guys done? What has worked? What has not worked? What are you guys concerned about? What are you thinking about doing right now?
So I'm just hoping the market changed so I can get ahead. And then when it does, I'll start leaning on you to figure out what to do with the money. Right
Okay,
now, I'm waiting
okay.
to kind of speed up a little bit and
So you're
get back in.
focusing on the earning.
Yes.
Gotcha, gotcha. Definitely. Well, you're definitely in a good team right there. I know
Right.
that I'm biased a little bit because Jeannie is my wife. So obviously, I'm going to say that that's the best team out there. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I'm like, there's a lot of experience. There's power in collaboration. There's power in numbers. And, just reach out. And I know we're going to be doing big things, guys.
I'm excited. Yeah. So, and then once we get this up and running, within like 6 months, our conversation, you and I will be a little different on,
Yeah.
where do I put this money?
For sure, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Focus on whatever step of the game that you're in right now, right? Because everybody is playing the game at different stages for the most part. So my answer may not make sense to you right now, but then later on, somebody else might have an answer or a solution. I'm like, I'm not even there yet. It doesn't necessarily apply to me. So as long as we understand what the goal is and we're all working together, the power of the network, it's so much easier to move that train when it's a bunch of people instead of just you behind it trying to push it or pull it.
Yes, true. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me see, Julio. Jen, how you doing? I'm happy to see you guys are in there. I'm like, any questions, any comments, anything that you guys would like to add? Some good takeaways.
Hey, just wanted to listen in today. I don't know if you've done this before or not, but I guess, I would love to hear you talk about maybe different types of investments, outside of not only outside of the insurances and stuff like that, but like, maybe talk about franchises, maybe talk about uh, you know, the ROI on a flip, looking like what can we look at further that we should consider as an investment as we move along, different options. Some will yield more than others, but everybody has different interests, and I know you have a lot of knowledge in the different factors. So
No, no,
I would
those
love
are
to
those are
hear.
great topics. Right now, I'm trying to figure out, I guess, a pretty good curriculum, see what's actually of interest to people. And I think that right now I kind of came full circle. So next week I might start from scratch again. Kind of build upon these concepts and take those into consideration. Definitely go into more into the numbers, more into the different opportunities, into the different opportunities, the investments that you had mentioned, franchises, businesses, how to compare one investment to another. Essentially like when you're doing underwriting, if you're doing like a pro forma on a property where you start looking at it and you're like, okay, how do I compare option A and option B? Which one would make more sense? So I think I will do some more exercise like that, some activities, get a little bit more of the community to kind of like participate. That way we make it a little bit more interactive, more of a learning experience. Does that kind of sound a little bit about what you were talking about?
Yes, yes, it does.
Perfect, perfect.
But all of
Thank you,
this is
thank you.
great. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Julio, you got anything over there, buddy? Are you picking up some good things, or is this kind of like old hat for you? I think Julio's busy right now. He's like probably working the lead or somebody. All right, guys. With that, I definitely want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Let's get cracking. Let's start Monday off right and enjoy your time with your family and friends, whatever you got going on. And definitely God bless, guys. Have a good day.